On the south side of our county, we see the farms along with just the beauty that's all through the county. We have pig farms that we visit, and we have our potato farm, Sackett Potato Farm, which we found out supports Frito-Lay, and all of those potatoes go there. On the north end of our county is the Hay Marsh, where we have public land where people can hunt or hike, and it's incredible. It's just beautiful. We also visit the east side of the county, which is thousands of acres of development through Canadian lakes.
And the picture you see are pictures of Canadian lakes as I saw it for the first time. Some of these pictures are over 60 years old and were given to me by their former owners. It would be hard to explain my feelings. From the hilltop looking down into the valley, you could see the lake strung out for miles in the distance, with a small river, Cedar Creek, running from one end to the other, with not a cabin or a human being anywhere near. I've never seen anything like it to compare, and I have traveled the Porcupine Mountains and the Huron Forests in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan extensively.
Over 5,000 acres have been needed to encumber this fantastic undertaking. By the way, the name Canadian Lakes was chosen because the beauty of the hills, valleys, lakes, and streams reminded Mr. Bowman of northern Canada.
And the west side of county is an often area where we are looking at where the river comes through our community.
But in the mid-50s, President Spadoff and Governor Williams were together, Governor Williams stopping here at the Institute, and planning for the future. And they went out to State Street. And President Spadoff always liked to say, and Soapy, Gene Menon Williams, his nickname was Soapy, looked at me and said, "Now, Victor, I think you ought to plan for a divided highway here." And of course, we see it today with the landscaping and the divided highway that they envisioned, but half century ago.
We've had road movement actually in our county, which is kind of interesting. M20 used to be Perry Street, and now it's moved south to 8 Mile Road. I happen to have a cottage out that way, so I've seen some of the growth that has occurred with a gas station on the south side of the road and a trading station on the right side of the road. The Amish community is pretty strong right through there, and as you go further west, they've even taken what used to be Parker's Landing and redeveloped that whole area. It's very beautiful along the river for those people who like to boat and camp, and it's just a gorgeous area to support that kind of industry. Leadership Mecosta also has an opportunity to visit the other gem in our community, and that's Ferris State University. And having been a part of this community myself for over 30 years, coming to Big Rapids in this area because of Ferris State, I have seen a tremendous growth there.
Mr. Ferris saw the need for it in Big Rapids because of the lumbering era. Many of the younger boys went out in the woods and worked with their dad, and they didn't have their schooling.
So he created Ferris. Ferris, the original name in 1884 was Big Rapids Industrial School, being industrious for change. Maybe looked at as a Big Rapids school as opposed to a private institution, so he changed the name to Ferris Industrial School. And that name held from 1885 to 1898, when it was changed to Ferris Institute, because what had happened with industrial and the public education scheme, wayward youngsters were put into industrial schools, public industrial schools, so he needed to change. And so Ferris Institute, 1898, or FIers as we were called, and some of the older still called FIers, that held until 1963, when we became Ferris Institute a state college, which immediately then went to Ferris State College. And then in 1987 to Ferris State University. Important point, Ferris as a state university is the only state university of the 15 that is directly named for an individual. Why Big Rapids? Competition. He wasn't in direct competition with other public or private schools, and he was on the edge of where there was a need.
I believe that Ferris has a big impact on the growth of the city. We have several people coming into our community through Ferris. They live in our community, they spend money in our community, and they become a part of our community. So they do impact our growth.
It is impacted in so many ways. Obviously, demographically would be a big part. 40,000 people in the county today, and you have a university of 10,000. You have a faculty of 500 with well over another 500 that are support personnel from the grounds to the secretary's administration. So we're talking a huge part of the economic base of the county today, and not only demographically but economically.